we are live, guys. Welcome back. Happy Monday morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys have had a wonderful weekend, a good holiday for those of you that are celebrating the holiday, etc. And looking forward to the new week of 3v3 and or just finishing 3v3 today. And finishing off some Conquest stuff, guys, as well. Ram, how was your weekend? How was your previous week? And how's life, sir? How's it going?
Weekend was good. And, like I said, I was over at a sausage festival, handing out sausages to not just the men, but the women and the children too. So a little bit of Anakin Skywalker action over there. I dominated Desecream in GSC.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Shout out to Desecream. We love you. He unfortunately he showed why he's still just a delivery driver for Ram's daily semen delivery rather than moving up in the world.
In his defense, it was a 10 mil account versus what? Are you 12 and a half?
Yeah, 12.6, I think.
Ram likes beating up on little. But
he did have one more gack on me than me, so he did have an advantage.
Oh, there you go.
He had the Tuscan Omicron, which go back and watch my stream. Okay?
Yeah.
Tuscans. I hate Tuscans.
Guys, in case you didn't know, Savage cannot beat Tuscans. You heard it there on Ram's stream. Make sure you go check it out, everybody. Speaking of checking things out, guys, if you haven't checked out part 1 of Rogue Actions, you guys need to get over there right now and do that. You're supposed to watch part 1 first, then part 2. Link is down there, guys. Check it out in the video description, everybody. Once you have watched part 1 of Rogue Actions, then you can come back here and check out part 2. We had some riveting, very good discussions on Datacrons in GAC, as well as some Conquest discussion. Speaking of Conquest discussion, we're going to kind of continue that theme here, guys, with a little bit of a topic about this Conquest as a whole, how it's been going for all of us, and more so than anything else, is it too easy? I can't believe I'm saying those words. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about here, guys. So let's go ahead and get this started, everyone. So if you guys are working on your Conquest, which hopefully you guys are, you should absolutely be working on your Conquest. A lot of you probably found this to be one of the easiest Conquests that we've had in a while. I know for me, it took me probably the full 7 days. I got there Saturday. I take it back. I got there Saturday of the first week. Which is pretty typical for me. I'm usually gold crate by like Friday, and then I finish off red crate by Sunday, let's say. Maybe Monday if it's a little bit slower, that kind of a thing. So for me, it wasn't that drastically different than any of my previous Conquests were, but I still found the feats to be relatively easy despite one key handicap, which we'll probably talk about here in a little bit. But for me, like I said, it wasn't too bad. I didn't see a massive difference. Ram, for you, I think it was a little bit different. How was this Conquest for you? Did you find it to be really easy? And more importantly, do you think it actually is too easy?
No, this Conquest was extremely easy. I really actually like where Conquest is kind of at, where, you still have to accomplish most of the feats, but like in your case, you don't have Inquisitors, so you didn't have to worry about the Inquisitor feats, and you were still able to red crate.
That's a great way of saying that. I didn't have to worry about the Inquisitor feats. I like that mentality. Good job.
But because you don't have Inquisitors, so you have to do all these other feats that are pointless that I get to skip, like the 40 Battles of Galactic Republic. I get to skip that one.
Well, that one wasn't bad. Like, it's such a massive faction. That one to me was not that difficult. For me, it's more the light side Mandos. Or
IG-12 and
the IG-12 Grogu. Yeah, those were the two that I would really, hammer down on because of not having Inquisitors. But,
well, and the Galactic Republic one, to be fair, that's really easy too, because there is a lot of supports and healers in the Galactic Republic. Which,
True.
If you go after the Zealous Ambition discs, those are killer because they make you just one shot things eventually. Even with low stamina, like Padme, Adrad, Dash, Barriss. Shakti, GMY, those guys will just one-shot people all day long with Zealous Ambition. So I definitely like where data discs are at. Zealous Ambition being in there is huge. It's a huge advantage. but overall, even the feats were they were generally accomplishable. It wasn't something I felt like you had to wail to get them. There's obvious the ones that have like Bo-Katan Mandalore or Darth Bane, where if you didn't do Conquest, you didn't have that one.
Right.
So there are some feats on there that's like, yeah, you had to. But they've kind of established they will always do that. They'll always put the newest and latest and greatest whatever, whether it's GL, legendary, whatever, at the end of Sector 5 for it to be a feat, and you get five points from that one. So I just kind of assume I'm going to miss that one every Conquest. But overall, yeah, the Conquest was really, really easy. A lot of feats you can cheese and do in one battle. So that was very helpful as well. It took me probably 4 days or so on each account to get Red Crate, and now I'm just sitting here simming every day, getting Datacron materials. So I do like where Conquest is at versus where it's been in previous months. Obviously, in the beginning, it was super easy. Then they made it a little bit more harder. I think they got to a point where it was too hard to really get people without taking away their investment.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going back to a time where it's pretty accomplishable for most people.
I think one of the other big things that they did, in my opinion, so you mentioned earlier about the Galactic Republic requiring 40 battles. I feel like in the past they've had more than just one feat that required 40 battles. Yes. I could be, okay, I was going to say, I thought so. I think...
Well, I don't know if they were 40. I think they were like 20 battles or so in the sectors, and then 40 battles in the global feats.
Yeah.
But
so
still, yes.
Yeah. I'm referring specifically to the global feats being 40. That one is so over the top, and with this one exception being the case, and actually I think the last one was a Rebel one as well, if I remember correctly. When you have, there should only be ever a maximum allowed 140 battle feat global. That's it. Period. End of discussion. No more. And it needs to be and remain a massively large faction like Rebels, Scoundrels, Galactic Republic. You cannot be like, if it was like 40 battles with Phoenix, get the crap out of here. Like, that's something that
40 battles with Geonosians.
Yeah, like
yeah.
140 battle feat at max and make it a very large faction. That I'm okay with. But other than that, they need to keep things at 20 or less globally speaking. And then within the sector, even ideally, I think 10 is still a little much. I can deal with 10 battles being the case, but I still would rather see it be more. I think what we saw in this instance, where it's more about finding ways to cheese these feats or putting in the time with the battles. Mm-hmm. It's less about actually doing battles, a certain number of battles. That's stupid. No one wants that. And it's more about achieving like kills or defense up, like even like level 1 here, the level 1 feats that we got. None of these are based on battles. It's all things that you can find ways to kind of, cheese to some degree by setting out the right kind of comp. This is the stuff that we need more of. And I think that's why this became an easier Conquest. I think CG has been listening to us, maybe not us directly, but other people have said the same things as well, that we need to stop doing battle-based feats and make it more about achieving certain things within the battle. And I think they're listening to that. I think they're doing that. I think that's why we think this was so much easier than previous ones. I know for me personally, so one, I think the feats obviously were a big part of this in terms of being easier. Maybe I'm alone in this, but I actually found the battles, though, to be more difficult than previous Conquests. I think for me, that's because I didn't get great data discs set up. I only got like two Green Zealous Ambitions, and that was it. But even then, I think there were some bugs involved with it. Like, again, I can't confirm because it's hard to confirm in Conquest. But there were some bugs, I think, where buffs weren't turning into offense like they should, things like that. And obviously, they did talk about some bugs, like they acknowledged in the one update that the protection disc wasn't recovering protection like it was supposed to in Conquest. So there were some bugs, I think, that made it more difficult from a individual battle standpoint. But the nice thing is, if that's the way it is, we can find workarounds. We can get creative in creating new teams and new comps to find ways to win. Prime example of that is Queen Amidala in Sector 5. Like, you guys saw the video clip last week. Don't auto and drink, guys. Don't auto and drink. Like, a battle that's challenging like this, I have no problem with that because we can get creative. We can find new ways to win and new ways to beat that and things like that. That's the kind of Conquest I think we need to see moving forward. And I think shout out to CG again for doing things that are good here. They've found a way to make this, I think, more manageable and more fun in a lot of ways than it was in the past. As you said, Ram, for me personally, I hope they keep it like this. I hope that this stays this way. I don't want to see them go back to battle-based feats. And I don't think this is overly easy, to be clear. Anyone that's telling you that this is too easy of a conquest is probably someone that has a massive account and is probably wailing on the newest, latest, greatest character that gets them a lot of these feats. Like for the mid-tier, and I don't even really consider myself a mid-tier player anymore at this point, because I'm 10 mil GP. I think if I was 8 mil still, I consider me more mid. But like, I imagine an 8 mil GP player is still going to struggle a little bit with this conquest compared to some of us that are a little bit on the larger end. So I definitely don't think this is OP. I think this is kind of like that perfect level of difficulty for most people. I don't know. What are you thinking, Ram? You with me on that one?
No, absolutely. I think that this conquest is like a happy medium. It's challenging enough for a majority of people. Makes you feel like you still got a good reward when you get red crate, but it's not overly difficult to the point where it's like, I just want to quit because I can't get red crate.
Yeah.
So it's a good happy medium, and I do like that. I will say I still wish that there was a way that they would go in, and maybe CG's listening. I hope that they do go in and give us the capability, whether it's with the pass or whether it's with you guys love to monetize things. Monetize the data discs. Let me go in and re-roll. Let me go in and be like, you know what? I'm going to spend crystals to re-roll the data disc. I don't like the 3 data discs that you gave me in this sector. I want to re-roll them. I want to, because you just mentioned it. You only got 2 Zealous Ambitions. Zealous Ambitions made this conquest so much easier. I had like 3 greens and 3 blues that dropped for me.
Jeez.
And I was chilling. I was going in and just, sortie, going in and wrecking everything auto at like 10% stamina, because it was that easy. But that was good data disc RNG. So if you want to monetize it, let us go in and refresh it for crystals and increase the price of crystals, or make it 500 crystals every time. It's something insanely that you don't want to really do it unless you want to spend money on it, right?
Yeah.
But things like that would make Conquest, I think, monetized, and outside of just the pass, or included in the pass. If you get the pass plus, you are able to refresh datacrons once every sector or something like that. I don't know, but I think Conquest is in a good spot, and it's definitely gotten a lot better than where it used to be.
You mentioned the pass. That's a really good point. Like, so they obviously tried out this new thing with dropping some of the old character shards as well when you get that. So I know for me, I have no proving grounds that I can do. I assume you're in a similar situation. Minus maybe what the most recent one, Bane. Do you have to do proving grounds for him eventually?
I will.
Okay.
I will need to do proving grounds. I've never had to do proving grounds for any character, but obviously because I was away for 4 months, I will have to do Bane when he comes out.
Yeah.
That should be with the next Conquest character after people start getting Padme.
Yeah, I did have to do Ben solo briefly, but it was only like 2 or 3, and that was it. But I'm intrigued to see, because I feel like we're a little out of touch on that one, guys. What your thoughts are on that stuff being added to it as well. I don't think it's a bad thing. Anytime CG is giving us more stuff in a pass like that, I think it's a good thing. But those of you that are maybe not able to go as hard on Conquest as we are, I'm intrigued to see what your guys' thoughts are. First of all, let us know in comments, guys. Is this a easy mode type Conquest, or do you think it's kind of the perfect fit? Or is it still too hard for you? And then B, the Conquest Pass that they just came out with, the benefits that they added to it, is that something you'd like to see continuing in the future? Especially those of you out there that are newer players and are newer to the game in particular, that maybe we don't understand or relate to quite as well. I'd love to hear from you guys as well on that. Now, speaking of the newest, greatest things and all that jazz and being at a higher level account here, we're going to talk real quick here, guys, about the Gungans as a whole, and specifically the latest Gungan, the Boomadir. So we're going to talk a little bit about the characters, the faction as a whole, and then also the event itself. So I have the event here on screen, everyone. I first and foremost want to draw your attention to something, everybody, because I love the fact that I saw this. Because we talked about this in a previous Rogue Actions, which tells us either CG is listening to us, or it's just a happy coincidence. I'm going to choose to believe that they listened to us and took some good advice here. You guys, if you'll notice in the possible rewards here, over in Tier 4 for me, for instance, it says, requires blah, 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 blah. We don't care about that. But it says earn Gungan Boomadir shards. We specifically called this out in a previous Rogue Actions where I didn't know that you could get shards for characters in these events until I kind of put 2 and 2 together based on context clues from other people and then went for it and found them there. They've now put this in there. That wording is in there, exactly the wording that you said, Ram. And I think this is a massive improvement to get more of the player base involved in this and to understand what is available to them in here. The only thing I would love to see is that you, again, maybe it would say earn 5 Gungan Boomadir. Like give a specific number so that we know exactly how worthwhile it is to invest in this. So one, we just want to point that out, guys, that this is a big improvement that CG has made. Kudos to them. Shout out to them. If they were listening to us, that's even more awesome. But a good change on their part in general. Now, the event as a whole. So for me, this is the second time that I've gone into this event, spent some crystals to get the character to 4 stars so that I can unlock some more levels of this. I personally love this event. I think this is such a great way to release this character. You're still getting him 3 stars for free. You can take him up to 4. You can get a lot more shards out of it. You can get some extra gear. It's not a massive investment. And it's a great way just to kind of test out the different characters in the faction. Ram, first of all, what are your thoughts on this event? The way that they're doing this marquee now? And is it something that you think should stay in the game moving forward? Or is it just kind of you could care one way or the other about it? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I do like the event. It beats the old way that they were doing marquees. The old way was you had a tier for the basic ability, talk about the basic. Then you had a tier for the special ability, talk about the special. Then you had a tier for another special. Then you had another tier for unique. Then you had a tier for leadership. And it was like 8 tiers, it seemed like, of talking about these characters and like telling details what it was. I think that just got super old and annoying pretty quickly because a lot of people just they don't have the time for that. And if I want to know about the character, I'll go in and read about the character. Or, a lot of us, they're not going to whale, right? And so we're just going to sit here with this 3-star character for months and months and months and slowly farm it. And I'm not going to use the 3-star character anyway. So why do I care about knowing what the kit does right now?
Right.
I'll read about what the kit does when I get them up to a usable level, which is usually Relic 5, Relic 7, something like that, right? So by knocking you down to 1 tier and then giving us rewards on top of it, that's super beneficial because you're enticing people to want to spend, which is the ultimate point of this game is to make money, right? Don't be disillusioned and be like, oh, it's just to play, enjoy the game. No, it's a business. But at the end of the day, you're making it worthwhile for the players. You're giving us a reason to want to invest in this character. You're saying, okay, if I go, and I think someone, I can't remember if it was you or someone else in your chat or something that said this, but if you get them up to a 5-star character, you can reasonably end with a 6-star character by just investing to a 5-star because of the amount of shards that they give you from these events.
Right, yeah.
By the end of it, which will save you a lot of time when the character goes on a hard note, because now you only have to farm from 6 to 7-star rather than 3 to 7-star. So there is that aspect as well. So and then obviously free Carbantes, free Kairos. That's never a bad thing. So I do like that, and the fact that they listened to us and they made it simple and easy to read so that a Ram Bam can understand it. I'm all for it.
I'd be intrigued to see on their, obviously they're never going to tell us this, but I'd be intrigued to see what their profitability is for this model versus like when they did the bonus shards for like the Leia stuff, for the Leia requirements. I'd be really intrigued to see which one's a more profitable model. While I think we can speed things up faster with the Leia model than they did, I actually prefer this one. And you alluded to a good point. Like when you're doing these battles, for those of you guys that haven't tried this at all, you do have to invest in the character a little bit. You've got to level them up. You've got to bring their gear up a little bit. Not the insane levels, at least not in the early stages of this. But because you're investing in the character and putting some of your materials into it, and it's your character, not just like here's an event character for you. I know for me, I find myself being more engaged in the characters and what they do and how the kits work as a faction as a whole, versus when it's just a unit that's given to you, as an event unit. I just don't care. Like I just put it on auto and I'm like, yeah, I'll look at it later when they get to Relic 5 or whatever, like you said earlier. Because of that, I know for me, so I've actually been putting a little bit more effort into this, figuring out what each of their abilities do, that kind of thing. And I for myself have found that I absolutely love this faction. Like, I think they are so fun to play. The animations, as you guys can see on screen here, are just so cool. Like the balls flying through the air and everything. I just think it's a really, really, really neat animation. It's a ton of fun.
Balls.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I don't know that I've ever been so excited for a new faction, to be honest with you, as I am for the Gungans. Ram, do you feel the same way as me? Like, are you excited for the Gungans? Do you think that the event style that they're doing has played any part in that, or do you just not care and they're like the Inquisitors of the world for you?
No. I mean, I knew when we started talking about, what factions we'd like to see in the game, this is before Gungans were even announced. I knew that like Gungans was on people's list of, we would love to see this faction just because there's so much fun stuff that they could do. It's a fun faction. It's not a cool faction. It's not it's not the bounty hunters where they're cool. It's not the Empire where they're cool. It's not the Jedi. It's a fun faction. There's things that you can do with this faction that you can't normally do. You can make these weird animations because of how Gungans look and how they walk, how they react, how they move. You obviously have Jar Jar, and I'm really interested to see what they do with his kit because he's just naturally clumsy. And Phantom Menace obviously had some good stuff with the Gungans and the boobas and whatever those blue balls are. So it's a cool faction because they can do different things than what they normally would do with a new faction that they bring out. There's obviously people that don't like them, and I understand. There are going to be people that's going to be like, these are the Inquisitors. I don't like them. I'm not investing in them. But I feel like they're going to be fun, and they do look like they're going to beat a lot of good stuff. They do look like just seeing what we have currently without Jar Jar and without the other one that's coming out. They look like they're going to be able to take out a good number of teams pretty easily with the dispels that they have going out, the shocks, the stuns, all that stuff. It looks pretty good. I
also love the shield tech as well. Like the whole shield tech design from a kit standpoint. Like I feel like they've just thought a little bit outside of the box in terms of kit design. I will say, so outside of testing, animations and artwork have always been really good for the most part for CG in their games. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, sorry, not home so much. Rip. But other than like the artwork and animation stuff being generally speaking pretty good outside of the potatoes, the other thing that they usually do really well on, in my opinion, is the kits, like the kit design, how they try to keep things kind of lore accurate to some degree in their kit designs. Like I said, they run into testing problems and there are bugs and all that crap. That all happens. They need to test more, absolutely. But the design premise in particular, I guess is what I should say with this, I think has always been pretty solid. And I think the Gungan faction as a whole looks like it's going to really, really be neat and a lot of fun to play with moving forward. I hope they do more of this kind of stuff where it's a little outside of the box, a little bit unusual, and not just, Force users over and over again. Lightsabers going all over the place. I know we love lightsabers. They're a ton of fun. But it's nice to see some other things out there that aren't just Force users. For me, Jabba was a ton of fun. I love seeing scoundrels. A lot of people like these things that are a little outside of the box. So I'm really excited for it. But let us know in the comments, guys. Do you think this event that they're kind of coming out with, do you like this? Do you think it's something that we should see continued moving forward? And are you excited for the Gungans, or could you just not care at all about it? Like, you're like, nah, it's like the Inquisitors. Nobody cares. Nobody likes them. I can understand both ways. No, I hate them, guys. I hate them. Hate them. I will say this. So far, now again, they're not fully released, so this might change. But I don't feel like CG has forced this faction down our throats like they did with the Inquisitors. Hopefully, they don't do that once it's fully released, but we'll see. Hopefully, they've learned from their mistakes on that one. But anyway, like I said, guys, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Gungans as a whole, and what your thoughts are on this marquee special event that they've had the last couple times with this faction, guys. All right, last but not least, everybody, before we get into our final segment here, if you are still watching, guys, you need to get over, you need to like, and you need to subscribe, guys, to this content. We are 50 subs away, guys, from getting fully monetized here on YouTube, guys. We are so freaking close. And there are still a lot of you that are regular watchers that aren't subscribed. Why? It's like having a Relic 9 freaking 7th sister and then not having any of the other Inquisitors. Who in their right mind would do that? Don't be like that guy. Hit the sub button, guys. Hit the sub button. All right, moving on to our final topic, guys. Our Master of Memes. So we ran this. Actually, Ram did not really see this. He's not aware of this because we ran this in a stream when he was busy and not able to be there. So we're getting kind of a first-time reaction from him, guys. We have the following. And I have to do a little bit of a voice with this one. I'll try my best, guys. It says, Astral Infernum presents man versus, I hope I did that right. I don't know. I'm not a huge Michael Jackson person. Versus 8 p.m. One beer?
One beer.
4 a.m.
I was a bad father. I'm sorry, son.
By the way, the consensus was that my Vader impersonation is worse than my Palpatine impersonation, if you can believe that. Ram, which one of these is better, and do you think should win?
It's hands down the one beer because, well, for obvious reasons. Besides the horrible impersonation, that was a just walking catastrophe.
There's a call out, yeah.
There's a call out. Yeah. You know who you are. I mean, we all can relate to this. We go in, and this doesn't even have to pertain to just beer. Like, you go into one place, you're like, I'm only doing this one thing, and you end up doing so much more than that one thing. Whether it's going to a bar and you're only going to have one drink, and then you don't have just one drink, or going to a grocery store, and I'm like, I'm going in just for underwear, and then you leave with like everything else.
Wait, you get underwear from the grocery store?
I mean, you know, tidy whities. Duh.
They do things differently in Florida, I guess, guys.
Yes. I did. I know shit. I saw a guy at the gas station pull up in a lawnmower, and I'm like, I'm in Florida. Pulled up in a lawnmower. I was like, okay. But anyways, yeah, no, I mean that meme for me, I think is perfect. And then obviously, you know, your impersonation is nowhere near Darth Vader. Not even close. James Earl Jones would be disappointed.
Yep.
Tom Hardy, I think, would approve because it was more close to Bane.
That's probably accurate. Yeah. I don't know how to do the James Earl Jones voice. I just can't do it. Sorry, James Earl Jones. You're an OG. Can't be replicated. I obviously agree. I have absolutely been there, done that. If Sister Shaka is watching, all I gotta say is Mad Elf, and she'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy, guys, to have been in a situation like this. So for me, it's definitely that one. It's also Star Wars, too. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, our winner was courtesy of the vote in our stream, guys. It's pretty obvious which one wins this one. This one is a no-brainer. But what is probably more surprising, our running winner, he had 3 weeks in a row, guys, of wins, was Russ Cooks. This was not a Russ Cooks meme, guys. He has been defeated. He has been unseated from his throne. Our new master of memes, guys, is none other than the Horizon. He's got the best reception in all the galaxy, guys. Congratulations, Horizon. Well done, sir. For those of you who don't know, we do shout-outs both here, obviously, on Rogue Actions. We do shout-outs over on Discord, and then we shout out live on stream as well when we do the actual vote, guys. So if you are someone that would like to get the crown of, or the title of Master of Memes, and you think you've got a good meme to submit, make sure you guys head over to the Discord. You can find that down in the description down below, everybody. And make sure that you guys submit your meme over there, and we can shout you out and declare you a Master of Memes as well, everyone. Ram, any final parting words, sir, before we call it a day?
Yes. So when you finish your sub goal for Ryan Seventh Sister, because we all know you will, your next sub goal, Shaka announced it here first. You heard it here first. His next sub goal is going to be finishing off the entire faction.
No.
It's only going to be about 1,500 subs.
No.
He's going to finish off the entire faction, including Grand Inquisitor and Reva. You heard it here first. Also, a happy April Fools.
I'd rather go to a sausage fest with just Ram present than do all that.
There's a lot of sausage.
Yeah.
I stuffed my face.
All right, we're moving on before that gets out of hand. Guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything moving forward, everybody. Last but not least, everyone, if you want to continue your journey down that swugger rabbit hole, make sure you check out the next video.